pay.
Yeah, that's
You're
what I told him.
but you're supposed to have sex with him whenever he says.
No. Whenever both want
What's
it,
where
right?
where but what's the, where does this double standard come from? I'm sorry, it's the reality. You guys you can moan at it all you want, but the moment you say to a guy, "You have to fucking pay for my time," you're saying this relationship isn't equal. This relationship isn't equal. My time is worth more than yours, so you should pay for it. I wonder what paradigm that sets up. Here's my view. If you go on a date with a guy and you don't offer to pay your share, you weren't taught right. If you go on a date and he doesn't pay, he wasn't taught right. I can tell you right now, if I was dating someone and they never offered to pay, I wouldn't be dating them. I can tell you that now. If they never offered to pay, I would not be dating them because I'd say, this is the most polite they're ever going to be. And they're not even trying.
This topic is very controversial because, there are women that are very powerful out there who give us the advice that, men are the one who should be taking care of the 100% of, the economical things related to the house and related to the relationship per se. But then we have the other side, the point of view of the man, and it's very valid what, Matthew was saying in the video. If you have a partner, you are supposed to be really good friends. And if you are really good friends, you are supposed to be treating them as if they are your best friend. And to me, it was a really good example because I won't deny, I was agreeing in the fact that yes, men should be taking care of everything related to the house. However, I just thought of myself, like, what if I was a man and then I was just with a woman who was expecting me to take care of everything? Yes, I'm a masculine person and I have this driven need of providing. It's normal, of course, to provide. But if I don't see the initiative of the other person to actually providing something for me as we are together in this relationship, I feel like I'm being used. It's not only the part that I'm gonna give you my companionship, I'm not only going to give you my love, but another way of giving love is also showing, consideration towards the other person. And if you are both independent and very, strong people who, have your income, you can just balance, how I can help you. You just get into an agreement. However, it doesn't mean just because you are a woman, you're just gonna leave everything to the man, especially when it is related to the economical part. So I have to completely agree on that when it comes to him. Because there's this double standard, that in the first date, yes, you're expecting the man to pay. But then you're just giving some power of him just deciding whether if I am entitled to ask you for having, intercourse with him because he paid already for the dinner, which is not an excuse. But it is something that you just have to think about. It's not the fact that we're just coming from the 50s and thinking that everything should remain the same. Remember, we're having a society that is changing and we need to see the things differently. So as women are now empowered just to go out of the house, many of them are deciding just to stay as a housewife and take care of the kids 100%. So of course they are able to also provide for their homes. There are even women that are very independent, they decide not to even get married, which is fine as well. And I empower, I feel like I agree with those women that also decide not to have children, which is another topic. But when it comes to that, we need to be very respectful and very fair when it comes to what is it that we're actually expressing out there. We want equality for women, but we should also apply it or understand the men's side. So that's why there is this movement that is existing, that men go their own way. Because of these type of women that, they take away everything they build. And that's not also fair. So this is another topic that it should be good for me to speak. So please stay in the video so we can continue, talking or addressing this situation. Finish addressing the other topic, about also helping the men on providing a little bit in your house by helping them and working as a team. What we need to acknowledge is that I know that many of you have the fear that what if this guy that I am having a relationship with only take advantage of me? I have had this experience before as well. That's why you need to be, have high standards, have really good self-esteem, and know exactly to whom you are going to share your life. Because when you actually choose very well, then you won't live this type of experiences. I know out there are many guys that they want to take advantage of women. They just want to, exploit them. And if they see them as a very easy target because they are very sweet, they are very given, that's the part I do not support, that you need to be giving out there, not even providing money, not even the energy, not even the emotions. But that's why you need to build your own self-esteem. But having an actual man who is showing up for the relationship, that is showing you that he cares, why not providing for the help? Under that condition, I do actually support it. And when it comes to the other topic, related to why is it the men are not so open about expressing their emotion, we need to address the fact that in the society we don't expect men, especially in Latin America, we don't expect men to cry in public or just to express their emotion, because in Latin America we just have the children, when they're very little, they say men do not cry, which is completely wrong. I do not agree with that. So I saw the other day this image that was talking about Kanye, it was talking about Tyrese, and even Will Smith, that they were just having this problem with their emotions. Jada was saying to his face that she was unfaithful to him on TV, and he felt really bad, and people just use his face as a meme. Then Tyrese was having this breakdown because he couldn't see his 2-year-old daughter, and he was crying, and then people use it as a meme. They make fun of him. And I'm not saying about Kanye, but it's the thing that we need to be more empathetic as well. We talk about, yes, it's very difficult to be a woman these days as well. I know I'm a woman myself. But what about, because being feminist doesn't mean that you need to hate men. Of course not. It's just to address the quality of human beings per se. Not everybody has the same opportunities, and that's also applied to men. So yes, they have maybe more chances when it comes to work environment and other fields. But when it comes to expressing their emotions, it's not the same. We are allowed to cry, we are allowed to speak, and yes, I know men are built differently. But it's the fact that they are not so open about it is because, especially in Latin America, men are not allowed to cry. Because you're not man enough. So that's the part we need to think about. We want equality, we need to think about things that are fair and they also live. And that's why it also exists this movement of men go their own way, which is another topic as well. So I just want you to stay in the video so we can keep addressing this situation. What it's like to be a man, especially in Latin America.
In order to enter into the definition of what it means to be a man in the 21st century in Latin America, we need to contextualize the following first. There are two types of games, finite and infinite, where the first one, it's about having definite rules with a specific type of players, and the objective is to win or finish the games according to the rules. And the second one, it's about fractal things composed of multiple games. So its rules depend on the rules of the games that are being conformed, and the players are only a cyclical swing of people, where the objective of this is not to win or lose, but to continue playing as an infinite loop. Thus, within this type of infinite games, we find the genre, where the pieces are on the board and we have to pull approaching an unprecedented shift. That is, the roles between men and women are being transformed in such a radical way that it is no longer a conventional survival game. but the species adapts to reproduce and survive in a hostile land to no longer be what it was before. I explain better. During the First World War, more than 20 million people died. Then, the Spanish flu killed 500 million human beings, and at the beginning of the 20th century, with all this, the man took a role of provider and protector, where he has to work to bring bread to the table after sacrificing his life on a battlefield. However, this precarious concept changes for women today, when they no longer need this to balance, nor allow a man to bring bread to the table, but they themselves are the ones who seek it. So, with all this in the background, I point out from my perspective that being a man in the 21st century is to know how to adapt your role, your values, your teachings of the family nucleus, your school education, and all the cultural baggage to bring your society so as not to fall into the concept of machismo. With all its aspects as a 33-year-old Latin American man, so that is, one who grew up with a backward, precarious, and obsolete concepts where the man is the provider regardless of what his wife does, if she earns more money or less, if she has or does not have a job. One is the head of the family who gives what he must so that the family can survive in the face of life's adversities. However, having certain ideas that can be taken as something right according to your thinking can bring reproaches such as, "Why do you want to open the car door for me? I can. Why do you want to bring things to the house? It is to control the house and everything. Don't open the car door for me. I am not one-handed," among others. That make people like me rethink to what extent my culture and values transcend the new social concept of feminine revolution. Being a man is summarized in a whole question that starts with, how should I behave from now on? Passing through, am I doing it right or have I screwed up? Since with feminism as it speaks, it is dangerous to see a woman in the street because you find her attractive, because it can turn into a harassment or something you want to do and you are lynched almost immediately. Where if you do not give up to your seat in the public transportation, you are inconsiderate. But at the same time, you don't open the car door because you are basically judged. A series of things that cause a clash between values and concept is the continuous struggle of the brain in a man today. Finally, I do not omit to say that being a man in the 21st century is about being sensitive but empathetic, careful but open, reserved but not cold, brave but cowardly because the brave are usually impulsive, faithful but not only to certain convictions that transgress. In short, being a man is a constant duality between concepts of good and evil.